Fighting games are a bastion for those seeking true competition, where skill, tenacity, and reflexes are rewarded with victory when you crush the opposition. And for the rest of us scrubs, fighting games just let us see badass characters kick butt when we clumsily smack the buttons, because we ain't no Justin Wong or Daiko. Thanks for watching, and welcome to Game Conclave. I am B. Berg, here today to share with you the new fighting games coming out in 2025. If you could give us a like and subscribe, it would really help us out. Let us know after the video if you're going to be Hadoukening or Buster Wolfing any butts in any of these games. But without further ado, let's hop into the new fighting games of 2025. Alright, now Guilty Gear Strive actually already dropped back in January on the Switch. But this was its debut on the Switch. It's actually released on all the other consoles already. But we're just going to run through the Switch version real quick. It's got 28 characters from Seasons 1 through 3 are all included in the roster. It's got the story mode, the other story mode, for extra lore tidbits, and all the usual stuff, your arcade, survival, tutorial, etc. The online has rollback netcode. However, the Switch does not support crossplay. But since the Switch has one of the largest install bases of all time, it's probably not as big of a deal. So, yeah. Arc System Works pretty much always knocks it out of the park. One of my favorite fighting game developers out there, and one thing I absolutely love about Guilty Gear is all the awesome heavy metal references. Venom, Slayer, Michael Kiske, there's tons and tons of references to awesome bands and musicians in this series. Always love it. And yeah, as I said, this dropped back on January on Switch, and it could already be found on all other major consoles and PC. Alright, next up we got Virtua Fighter 5 REVO, made by Ryuga Gotoku. The studio is probably best known these days as the developers behind the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. Virtua Fighter, though, is one of the most important fighting series of all time, maybe even one of the most important games of all time. It was responsible for all kinds of innovations in 3D game design, texture mapping, animations, all sorts of stuff. It went on to impact first-person shooters like Quake, action platformers like Tomb Raider. All sorts of stuff drew huge influence from the groundbreaking work that was done by Virtua Fighter. Now, as for a fighting series, though, Virtua Fighter is, of course, known for its simple control scheme, but insane amounts of depth. Virtua Fighter 5 REVO is hitting PC for the first time back in January. It's got rollback netcode, supports 4K resolutions and 60 frames per second, all sorts of balance adjustments, 19 playable characters, and some awesome new tracks like Burning Soul from Takanobu Mitsuyoshi. My kiddo is already obsessed with that jazzy, funky theme song. Virtua Fighter 5 is also available on the PS4 and the PS5 as the Ultimate Showdown version. Burning Soul! Umbral Core is a 2.5D fighter set in a unique and new dark fantasy world. It's going to feature 8 characters, a story mode, offline versus, training and tutorial modes, as well as a challenge mode, and the online versus will feature rollback netcode. The developers, are known as A Few Rounds Games, said they were inspired by Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, and King of Fighters. No official release date has been set, but the developer's Steam page was changed a while back to coming soon, which we're going to hope and assume means sometime this year. Their goal is for the game to come to PS4, PS5, and PC. Alright, next up we got Shattered. This is coming to us by Team 18K, which is an indie developer. This is a retro 90s style throwback fighter. The animations here are just gorgeous. Really smooth. I love this old pixel style. I really think it's a cool looking one. It was originally scheduled to come out last year, but there's still no official release date, so we're just gonna assume it's coming out sometime this year. It's a 1v1 fighter with a single player story mode, online versus with rollback net play, 4 confirmed characters thus far to choose between, and so far only a Steam release has been confirmed, but the developers have said on their Twitter that they want to hit as many platforms as possible. Ys vs. Trails in the Sky Alternative Saga is a crossover fighting game made by Nihon Falcom, the creators of the Ys and Trails series, which are both RPGs, so they're kind of branching out here, or more proper to say they did branch out because this is a remaster of an old PSP title. And yeah, it's a mashup of those two franchises. The game features both a single-player story mode and an online versus mode. The original game had 17 different characters to choose from for your main combatant and a support character role. We're unsure if more characters are beginning to come into this remastered title. The popularity of both of those franchises has expanded quite a bit since the game was originally released back in 2010. But this version will feature enhanced high-def visuals, 4K resolutions. It's also expected to be hitting the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and I would guess probably the Nintendo Switch 2 and PC in 2025. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles 2, is an upcoming licensed fighter being developed by CyberConnect 2, probably best known for developing the various Naruto fighters. They also make the Fuga Melodies of Steel turn-based RPG series and the long-dormant, but not forgotten about, RPG series .hack. The Hinokami Chronicles 2 is set in the world of the very popular anime and manga Demon Slayer. Like the first game, it'll be an arena fighter with a single-player story mode, an online versus mode, and a game is touting 40 playable characters wielding their signature sword and demonic skills in a badass anime style. If this is your jam, check this one out when it drops on Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC sometime this year. Alright, next up we have Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact, which is another licensed fighter. It is going to be a 2D fighter based on the Hunter x Hunter series. It's going to have 16 characters, including all your favorites like Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio, as well as members of the Phantom Troop. It's going to be a 3 versus 3 team-based 2D fighter, where you'll assemble your team and utilize their combat skills and Nen skills. The game will contain a story mode that will also serve as the tutorial, as well as online play featuring rollback netcode. We don't have an exact release date for this one yet, but it will be coming out for the PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It's expected to be dropping sometime in Q3 of this year, so probably a Switch 2 release as well. AquaPazza Aquaplus Dream Match is a 2D fighter developed by Team Arcana. Now this one actually released back in the PS3 era originally. It's a crossover fighter of various Caesars from the developer AquaPlus, including their Utaware Rumono series, Tears to Tiara, White Album, and more. You'll pick between 26 different characters in this anime fighter, and when you're picking your characters, you're not just picking one, you're picking two, as one character is your main combatant, and the other one will be a support character. They'll be called on for powerful assist attacks. We don't have a release date on this one, but as I mentioned earlier, the title was released back on the PS3, and it's finally beginning to come into the PC sometime this year. Alright, next up we got the King of Fighters 13 Global Match, which is finally coming to Steam on February 20th. This is an SNK fighter, one of my personal favorite series, and honestly I think this released all the way back in 2010. It just has some of the best animated 2D fighting character models I've ever seen. It's just gorgeous looking. You know, a part of me is sad they didn't just keep enhancing this style, but it still looks really cool in all the new stuff too. But I loved it anyway. The game's going to have rollback netcode, 36 playable characters, including all of the DLC characters from the original release, a story mode, arcade mode, practice mode, challenge mode, tutorial modes, all the works. Now this one's already released back in 2023 for the Switch and PS4, but this upgraded version will finally be hitting Steam. So if you missed out, make sure to check out one of the most gorgeous 2D fighters ever made. The Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is an upcoming compilation of some of Capcom's fantastic fighting games from the late 90s to early 2000s. This compilation is going to be coming out with Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2, one of my favorite fighting games of all time. It's also going to have Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, Power Stone, Power Stone 2, awesome to see Power Stone back, Project Justice, and Plasma Sword, The Nightmare of Bilstein. Every game is going to be set up with all the same modes they had in their original versions. all sorts of new enhancements as well. Some single-player modes, story modes, online versus for all of them, rollback netcode, ranked matches, casual matches, training modes, unlockable art, soundtrack enhancements, graphical enhancements, the works. There's all sorts of new ways you can play these. You can customize them to have one-button specials, change up your control scheme. This is just going to be a monstrously awesome collection of fighting games. Just seriously good collection, I think. It'll be dropping on May 16th on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Alright, now we've got 2KXO. This is being developed by Riot Games and is a part of their League of Legends series. It's going to be a free-to-play fighter with a 2v2 tag team system featuring characters from League of Legends. It'll have an arcade mode, a versus mode, a training mode, and an online versus mode. Now, I'm personally not sure how I feel about a free-to-play fighting game. I'm usually pretty wary of free-to-play games. I think they tend to be kind of predatory in nature, kind of designed to exploit sunk cost fallacies in people. So I'm real wary of them. So me personally, it would take a lot to convince me to try this one out. But we wanted to let people know about it because it's your option. You know how you do with gacha titles and free-to-play titles, and they don't work for me, but they might work for you. So. If a free-to-play fighter doesn't scare you off, this one's scheduled for an unknown release date in 2025 for the PlayStation 5, PC, and the Xbox Series X and S. Alright, next up we've got Bleach, Rebirth of Souls. Now this is going to obviously be a licensed fighter based on the very popular Bleach anime and manga series. It'll be dropping on March 21st. It's going to be a 3D fighter. It's going to have several different gauges denoting the spirit levels of your characters, which affects their moveset and their guard effects. I'd also expect most of these characters to have some sort of transformation effect, resulting in new movesets and enhanced skills and stuff like that, as transformations and bankais were very prevalent throughout the series. The story mode will cover the Substitute Soul Reaper arc through the Arankar arc, which to me is pretty much the best parts of Bleach. I thought after those two arcs it was just kind of okay, but yeah. It's going to have 27 different characters who've been confirmed. They have said there'll be a DLC plans to add in extra characters later on. So if you're looking for a Bleach fighter, which we're going to play, it's going to be dropping March of 2025 for the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC.
What? Who are you?
Alright, next up we have another SNK fighter, but this time it is a brand new one. This is a new entry in the Fatal Fury series, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. It's going to be dropping in April, and this is awesome. Fatal Fury is back. This is the first entry the series has had since 1999. It's going to be doing the 2.5D thing. We got the 3D character models fighting on a 2D plane. The roster is going to include 17 characters, Terry Bogard, Rock Howard, Mai Shiranui, alongside tons of new characters, returning characters from various other SNK games and Fatal Fury games. They've got 5 planned DLC characters revealed for Season 1, including Ken Masters and Chun-Li from Street Fighter. The story says it's going to pick up right where they left off in Garou Mark of the Wolves in 1999, focusing on the legacy of Geese Howard. They've also announced a story mechanic system. I assume that what we've looked at and seen is going to be real similar to the Street Fighter VI one. There's going to be these RPG elements in it, and I'm really looking forward to this. One of my most anticipated games of the year. I love this art style. It's super flashy. It's super cool looking. I love SNK fighters, period. So, again, this one's going to be dropping on April 24th on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment down below. And as always, from all of us here at Game Conclave, thank you so much for watching.